Good morning. Welcome to the start of McIntosh. McIntosh is going to be another 12 by 18 cutting board out of cherry and maple. And when we get through making the board, then we're going to laser engrave McIntosh on the front. Stick around. I'll show you how we're going to do it. Alright, off camera I've gone ahead and I've started the glue up. If you're wondering how I do it, it's just a matter of spreading out the Titebond 2 glue so that when I glue them all together, it's all glue joints making up, and then when I squeeze it, I want to see the glue coming out, which I see it all the way around. That's what I want to see. So now I'm going to add a couple of more clamps, and just to give it a little extra squeezing point. And what I'm doing this time, it's a little bit different from what I normally do. If you'll notice, I've got some of these boards that are running longer than what the cutting board is actually going to be. That's so that when I run it through my planer, hopefully I won't have the snipe, which is a dig end of the planer on both ends of the board when I start it. And we're going to experiment and see. I don't know if that's going to work, but in theory it should. And hopefully if it works, then I'm not going to have near as much sanding to do. So it's just a little experiment, and we're just going to see how it works for me here in a little while. So I will leave these under the clamps for probably 18 to 24 hours. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and do some cleanup of the glue that's squeezed out right now. And it's easier to do it while it's wet and runny, so that'll make my cleanup a whole lot easier and better. So I will try to remember to put some links down below to show y'all who have not seen me do this before some of my previous cutting board videos on my channel, and you can see how I do this total glue up right here. But it's a repeat process that I've done numerous times, so for that reason there I did not make another copy of it. But it's a real simple process. And I love making cutting boards. You get some really pretty boards out of it, and this one I'm really looking forward to. This is going to be the first one that I'm ever going to use my laser on to laser engrave. And in just a minute I will show you some test work that I did, and got my customer Melissa to approve. So now we have a game plan of how we're going to move forward with it. But I think it's going to look real nice when we get through with it. So those of y'all who are worried about me using this water and cleaning up this glue, don't worry. This glue is waterproof, so it's not going to affect how the board dries up and cures. So don't worry about that. Again, I want to give a tip about caring for wood grain cutting boards. No matter who makes them, they are not designed to be put into a dishwasher or a microwave. When you clean them, you wash them with soap and water by hand. You dry them off immediately, don't let them soak. And then when the board starts feeling a little bit dry or starts looking a little dull, then go ahead and apply some more of the cutting board compound oil, conditioning oil, that's the word I'm looking for, not compound, conditioning oil. You can never over oil these things because, to be honest with you, it's going to not take the oil in when it's full. When it's totally saturated with the oil and you start putting more oil on, that oil is just going to sit on top of the board. So when you see it doing that, you know you got a good full board. So anyway, so this is how we clean them up, and that's going to save me a lot of time on on my cleaning up. So I'm going to flip it over and clean up the back side of it as best we can. And as you see, we've got a lot of drips here too. The wax paper you see is strictly to protect my clamps, keep the glue off of them, just to make it easier to clean them up. So preparation is the name of the game. But this is a representation of the cutting that we're going to do with the laser. See if I can get this in line. Focus there. We looked at 3 different fonts. These boards are not glued together. They're just, that's the reason they're moving around on me. But we looked at 3 different fonts, and Melissa chose the one in the middle. So that's the font that we're going to use. Now, this side is cut about a 1/64 of an inch deep. It looks pretty good. But this side is the way we chose to do it. And that's the same 3 fonts, but those are cut 3/64 of an inch deep instead of 1/64. And I cut them at a little bit different speed and intensity. And again, we really liked that McIntosh there in the center. So that's what's going to be engraved on the front of the cutting board. So that's all done with my laser. So I'm looking forward to getting this done for her. So anyway, this is going to be just a short video for today's work. Tomorrow when we take it out of the clamps, then we'll be setting up the planer and we'll plane it down and get it all smoothed down and stuff. And then we'll start on the sanding. And then after the sanding is done, then we'll get out my jig that I have to cut the juice rings all around. And then after that, we'll cut with the laser, we'll cut the McIntosh in on the front. We'll do some more final sanding, and then we'll start the oiling of the board and the conditioning of the board. And then the last thing we'll do is we'll put the rubber feet on it. So anyway, this is going to be a wrap for McIntosh video number 1. I know it's real short, but not a lot to do in the first day when you're just gluing them up. So thanks a bunch, and again, I'll try to find the videos where I've done in the past, and I'll put those in the descriptions below, and you can see how I go about gluing up a cutting board all the way from start to finish. So thanks a bunch. We'll see you tomorrow on McIntosh video number 2.